hello, and welcome everybody to Championship Night here at the Vigilante Racing League, live under the lights at Autoclub Speedway. Unfortunately, a formerly great track, not being raced anymore, but hey, we look forward to days like this where we can throw it back to the good old days of absolute pure speed as these trucks go around and around at 180 plus miles an hour, all to determine the season champion here tonight. We always have to thank our sponsors over at D&D Race Graphix. You can go check them out on Facebook and on Trading Paints. That is by Mr. Ricky Wittenberg himself. He puts in a lot of work to those paints. You can check out all the designs, and I'm sure if you can pick at least a handful of trucks out here in this field every week, they're painted by him, and they look amazing as always. So be sure to go hit him up there to give him some business over there, as well as his real life business over at Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. You can call Ricky at 423-444-0454 to get yourself a good quality realtor, whether that's Ricky himself in that Johnson City, Tennessee area or anywhere across this great nation, because buying or selling a house is something you do not want to do alone. Get yourself a good quality realtor. As well as a proud sponsor bringing us the great trophy I'll show here in just a second, Stainless Piping Specialists. You can give them a call over there at 920-685-6830 to give them some business, because man, oh man, did they put in some great effort to what the winner of the season is going to walk away with. It's going to be that bright, spanking, shining new VRL champion trophy. And man, that is definitely something you're going to want to keep out there on that desk, because you know you had to work to really get that one. I'm Alan Brown, and I am joined in the booth as always by Mr. Alan English. Alan, how you doing tonight, man? Yes, sir. Is down there on pit road, ready to finally empty out that very full cooler that he's had all season long. It's Mr. Adam Turner. Adam, how you doing, man?
You're done for the night, DQ'd. 6 sets of tires. Racetrack is cool. It's about 70 degrees. Perfect night for watching a race and enjoying some cold drinks and hanging out with your friends.
Me and Turner are not going out over the air.
You are now.
Okay, thank you.
I did notice that.
And you sounded really quiet too.
Did I?
Sorry to interrupt, buddy.
Oh.
Anyway, what were you saying there, Turner?
Oh, so I just got informed that I'm now broadcasting. Am I live? Is this thing working?
Is this thing on?
We've only done 400 of these, but there's always something. There's a spaceship in New Hampshire that's running this thing. Sometimes it's a pain. No, dude, tonight, 70% fuel, 1 fast repair, 13 incident points. You're out of here. That's a DQ. 6 sets of tires. It's 70 degrees on the track. We're going to have cold beer. We're going to enjoy the race with our friends, just like y'all out there watching, and hopefully we see a good one.
That we will, as we take a look here at tonight's racing info. It's going to be under the stars here in California. And I don't mean people like Johnny Depp or anything like that. I'm talking about the things out there in outer space. So that's going to give us a nice, cool track in lots of grip out there, which is also bringing us down to that key to the race. And pretty simple key. It's the last race, your last chance to get yourself in a position to get yourself some money here.
Yeah, and in my opinion, that means we got to turn people, burn people, crash people, fight, claw. I mean, pull each other's hair out. Whatever you got to do to get up front here. Is that how we do it, English, or should they not do that?
Whatever's more fun, right?
I'm just-
But
I think so.
Earl Evans joining us over there on the YouTube. Thanks so much for the awesome paint that he did this week. He's running the AAA broadcasting truck out there on the track. He also says, Brown, you are a little bit quiet still on the mix there.
Aww.
But we'll get that squared away, and you guys let us know if we're having any other surprise technical problems tonight.
Yeah, I mean,
I've already had my share with my computer today, so
It's
hopefully,
probably you have infected Brown's computer all the way from Louisiana. Good job. We'll blame it on English tonight.
Now, to your point, though, Adam, you don't want to see a wreck fest out here, but at
No.
the same time, you still want them to be competitive. We know that first place is a lock, but we're going to have some great battles for second place and possibly fourth and fifth place as the standings are so close and these guys are out there running qualifying right now, solo qualifying.
That we will take a closer look at as soon as qualifying kind of closes down here in just a moment. People still putting in some laps. Jonathan Osborne right now, fastest lap of the race out there. Albert Anderson looking mighty fine. And man, is he rolling dice in Waco in that little purple truck? No American flag seen on that one, but still looking pretty good.
Man, these guys got the best paint jobs out here tonight. Yeah, shooting dice in Waco.
Stroking
Probably.
Regos, we love that stuff.
Probably stole that thing right out of the parking lot and drove it to California. We'll have to put it out of APB on that thing after tonight. Drive that thing right off the track.
We just might, as our field of a little over 20 drivers continue to put some laps down here to try to get a good qualifying spot to finish off the season here tonight. So with that, let's pop open that current championship standings that we were talking about. And of course, no surprise, Vigilante rookie John Ellis just absolutely coming in with a pit of fire in his belly, and he absolutely runs away with this one. So he's going to walk away a champion here tonight. But look at that race for second and third. Timothy Pope and Jess Vaught separated by a single point. So that's literally the difference of leading the lap and not leading the lap out there. Got other people trying to make some climbs up the leaderboard as well, just trying to make themselves look good for next season, because some of these guys are maybe looking at even changing up teams a little bit, maybe do a little driver swapping.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I think we do have a couple guys that intend on swapping some teams and mix it up, and I think it ought to be a lot of fun. Angry Indian 89 joining us over on our Twitch channel, saying, "What's up, AAA broadcast?" He says, "English is Louisiana hot outside." Yeah, it's in I think we hit mid 80s today, but the humidity was so bad. I was out working on a lawnmower today, trying to fix it, and I was just drenched head to toe. But yeah, it's a tad warm, and we want to also thank everybody joining us over there on Facebook. We've got all of Albert Anderson's crew out there in strength tonight. Edith, Country Boy, Donna, Dawn, thanks so much for joining us. Saying there's a little bit of buffering going on, but I don't know if that's on their PC or on our server or what. Hopefully it will work its way out.
Yeah, it looks fine on my screen, but I mean, who knows?
It looks like
Computers are computers.
Looks like we're getting gridded up here. We want to do a rundown for the folks.
Absolutely, as the 81 of Jonathan Osborne is going to start us off on pole position here tonight. Got that 221 of John Ellis outside of him there in second. You got Mike Everidge going to be starting up here towards the front as well. He was looking very racy in practice. He's going to start us off in third with the 33 of Jess Vaught starting us in fourth. You got Mike Adamson driving the 51 machine, starting in fifth with the 728 Timothy Pope in sixth. At seventh, we have the 72 of Chandler Paul, and eighth, right next to him, is the 28 of George Rincon. You got the 3 of Austin Paul starting in ninth here tonight, with the 254 of Dale Adamson rounding out tonight's starting top 10.
The number 2 America's driver, Albert Anderson, is going to start in row 6 on the inside. To the outside of him, the 37 of Dustin Reilly. Row number 7 is going to be the number 29 of Dave Hot Rod Mayberry and the 01 of Kelly Keel. Row number 8 is going to be the 4 of Dion Jones and the 14 of John Herdzik. Row number 9 is going to be the 257 truck of Russell Endicott. And our buddy, the 203 Earl Evans on the outside. Rounding out your top 20 here. In row 10, the 214 of Jeff Ottinger and the 204 of Robert Jordan.
Looks like you got the 999, Jeff Snyder, 21st, and then number 7 of Russ Kilgore there in 23rd. There's going to be a little shifting around because of the DOL is giving out the last week's top 3, so that'll shake itself out here.
Yeah, Albert Anderson being one of those guys, finally picking up the win that he wanted to last week, and just forgetting that he's not supposed to qualify here. He's supposed to start in the back, but that's all right. He's gonna. You know what? When you get all excited getting the win, man, you forget some of these little rules.
That's right. Righteous Solar joining us on YouTube, pulling for the number 2. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, don't forget, fan of the race. You keep commenting about what's going on out there, talking to us. With a little bit of money.
Albert Anderson Jr. joining us as well. Thank you so much for joining us. And Andrew Hansley on tonight to pull for Albert as well.
And speaking of that super fan of the race, let's hope that all the fans stick around, because we have a very important announcement to make here at the end of interviews that you do not want to miss. So please stick around for that, because that's going to be some great big news as the pace truck makes the dive off of pit road here, getting ready to go to the green flag for the first time here tonight. John Osborne and Ellis taking that green flag. Here we go, getting underway at Autoclub. Looks like a clean start here for all these drivers, still lining up 2 by 2 up at the front. Ellis and Osborne not giving each other an inch of slack here as they head through turns 1 and 2. Looks like that inside line might get a little bit better run here as the 33 of Jess Vaught looks to dive up the inside, and he does sneak that position away from John Ellis as people start to kind of figure things out, single file out. We still do have some action going on behind these guys up in the front. We got the 728 of Pope trying to catch right back on up to Mike Adamson and Mike Everidge here, who have been side by side for a little bit. Same thing with behind them. You got Dale Adamson and Chandler Paul, as well as the 28 of George Rincon. So we got a nice little wad of trucks here inside of this top 10, all battling for positions here early as this race gets underway.
Did you see the 37 get super loose back there?
I was going to mention that. 37 out of 2 on the first lap. Totally lost it, but regained control on that inside apron. Nobody got hit. Now he's back on the track. Looks like he's going to start making up some ground again.
Great thing of having that big wide apron down there is once you can save it, because you can save it in these trucks when they start to get sideways like that. We've seen some incredible saves this season, but that's a great thing to have. In addition to the admin-only cautions, Lori's only going to throw a yellow flag out there if we got more than a couple of trucks involved and it stays up in the racing area. But if it self-clears and there's only a couple of trucks, we're not going to see a yellow flag.
Man, look at this 2x2 action we had going on. The 14 of Herdzik just got that position from the 204 of Robert Jordan as Albert Anderson finds his way around the 214 of Jeffrey Ottinger right behind him. the 7 of Russ Kilgore found his way around the 257 of Russell Endicott. But here comes Albert Anderson with a big charge, using that momentum to his advantage with that draft. He's looking to the inside of that 204, now looking to maybe try to make a move on that 14.
254, Dale Adamson in that throwback Mountain Dew machine, up 5 spots already, making up more than one position each lap here. Just Vaught, we saw him making a couple moves right there on the first lap. Really, he knows what's on the line tonight, and that's his second place in the standings.
I'm back here in the back. Deion Jones already hit the wall once. It looks like the side of his right side of his truck's kind of tore up in the gear wrench Silverado. But still putting the laps in. We haven't gotten the field too spread out here. Really good racing this early.
We do, and even though it is cool, you got to imagine tire wear is in the front of these guys' minds as the 33 of Jeff Vaught looks to make the pass, and he does on the 81 of Jonathan Osborne. Jonathan Osborne maybe getting out of line there a little bit, so he's now got the 221 of John Ellis on the outside of him.
Like seeing this aggression early from these guys that, I mean, all these guys are competitors.
Yeah, well, I did some practice laps here last night, and English was with me. Tire wear's you're gonna start seeing them fade if they don't save them right around lap 10, I think. So we'll see if that comes into play here shortly.
And we do, as the 82 of Mike Everidge is now going up the inside of Jonathan Osborne, looking to steal a podium position away from him here early on in this race. See that Bass Pro Truck just kind of sitting there lurking. I believe that's that 51 of Mike Adamson. He's just sitting, biding his time. He does have his son there, that 254 Dale Adamson, right there in front of him. Maybe he's going to use him to get some of these guys in front of him out of line and just kind of follow him on through without burning his stuff up.
Limitless Motorsports, one of those teams, you might see him pick up another driver or two for next season. I think they've already announced it on their Discord channel there, but they are picking up a couple of drivers. They're going to be a pretty stacked team next year, or next season, I should say. The next season will start here in just a couple of short weeks, 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, right thereabouts. I think it's like the first or second week of June that we're gonna.
Yeah, 1 June. Yeah.
Yeah, that we're gonna see these guys back in action on the racing surface, and it won't be in the trucks. It'll be in the Xfinity cars. And man, talk about going from basically driving a brick around a track to driving something that's absolutely only driven by madmen.
A little bit harder to control, a lot more power. You know, Turner, me and you raced together in the Xfinity Series for a while. We really enjoyed it. I mean, it's a challenging race car to drive, really.
Yeah,
not as forgiving as these trucks.
No, I like the trucks driving wise, but they're definitely tough. You're gonna have to. There's gonna be a big learning curve there if these guys hadn't spent a lot of time behind the wheel of the Xfinity car.
Looks like Jess Vaught maybe using that kind of middle to high line to save some tires here as the 221 of John Ellis looks to the inside of him. Jonathan Osborne trying to decide maybe which line to kind of help follow through here, carry a bit of momentum through this racetrack. Use that inside apron through that kind of front stretch section of this track. But I got a feeling we probably won't see too much of that until we get down to about 15 to go.
Ooh, stacking up there, father and son with a little bit of a conflict as Mike Adamson got into Dale's rear end there and that wasn't squared up just right. Turned the younger Adamson down onto the apron.
Dude, the feats of strength in the Festivus this year.
Festivus.
I'm gonna remember that one.
As we kind of look towards the rear of this field, you got the 214 Jeffrey Ottinger making a pass here on the 204 of Robert Jordan. He's got the 7 of Russ Kilgore looking at maybe try to help push him along here, gather up some of that extra speed from some draft help. Same thing with Kelly Keel and Dave Hot Rod Mayberry. They've been side by side for a little bit as well, heading off down into turns 3 and 4. Still side by side. They've got the 28 of George Rincon in front of them to maybe try to act as a little bit of a spoiler here, but he's sticking to his line. Unfortunately, Mayberry deciding to try to follow that 28 might be getting checked up a little bit here, allowing that 01 of Kelly Keel to try to sneak up the inside.
Blaine Anderson joining us once again tonight over on the Facebook feed. Thanks for joining us tonight. Pulling for Albert, of course. Earl Evans said he had some things pop up around the house. He says, guys, I hope my boy Osborne wins. Thanks so much for everything you do for the sport. Thank you so much, Earl, for all your support, the cool paints and everything. Manually disconnected, so Earl done for the night.
Man, but that
Live
paint job was so cool.
It was.
It was a guaranteed winner, that is for sure.
We're going to talk about that all night.
We will, but we're also going to talk about all these battles happening around the track. We do have like a little gap between 6th and 7th, about a second gap there, but other than that, you've got people racing all over the place. Like this little group here behind Albert Anderson, you got Jeffrey Ottinger, Russ Kilgore, Robert Jordan. They've been nose to tail, flip-flopping positions like crazy. Same thing with in front of them. You got Kelly Keel, George McCon, Dave Hot Rod Mayberry, all having a big old battle up towards this kind of front end of this where the top 10 area is, as Jonathan Osborne looks to make his way around that 33 as the 221 finds his way around that 33, maybe sneaking around that top side.
Looks like that's the place to be right now, is way up high. They're really making that line look really fast. Angry Indian joining us on the Twitch stream, saying, "Do I like Louisiana hot sauce?" Yes, unless it's Nutri-Ret, then you gotta Tabasco that. You know, you really have to put Tabasco on that.
Seems like that makes sense.
You know, I don't eat Nutri-Ret gumbo either. These are questions people want to know. I'm wondering what people. Y'all watch too much Swamp People on History Channel.
People must be listening to me. These are the kind of questions I like.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
As up here at the front, Timothy Pope looking to make a charge up the inside of Jess Vaught here, going all the way down to that bottom line. He's not going to have a whole lot of room to drift up the track, but looks like he's still able to get that truck to stick down there. Still fighting, clawing his way. Just not quite enough of a run coming off of that corner to steal that position away. He's still going to be side by side with Jess here as they go through turns 3 and 4.
Well, I mean, the flag race that we've seen here before that was just so clean, they can do it here because you can run multiple lines. This track is good and wide. There's lots of runoff area. And as we mentioned before, these trucks are very forgiving. It's easy to kind of recover them as opposed to a Cup car or Xfinity car like these guys will find out next season. It makes for great racing.
As soon as that 728 was able to get clear and drift up the track, man, that 33 was ready for it to pick up that big old draft run and try to sneak back across. Well, here comes that 728 again, just doing the good old flip-flop happy dance here behind that 221 with John Ellis.
Oh, Knox Medusa joining us on Twitch too. Hadn't seen Knox Medusa in a while. Saying, "Hey AAA, how you guys doing?" We're doing great. It's the championship race for Vigilante Racing League, and you got these. Look at the 728 and the 728 and the 33. They're pretty much fighting for second place. That second place trophy at the end of the season here. Well, right behind John Ellis. That's kind of ironic, isn't it? The way they're lined up right there is how they are in the standings.
Yeah, but I mean, look at what's going on right behind them. You got the 51 Mike Adamson and the 81 Jonathan Osborne having a battle, trying to squeeze out some good finishing positions here in this final race. I mean, we've still got battles going on throughout this entire field. We got the 3 of Austin Paul. He's been losing a bit of ground here. I think he's definitely suffering from those effects of older tires. He's letting the 28 of George McCon go by, and now here comes I think these guys are brother, but the 72 of Chandler Paul is sneaking up the inside as well.
And look, check out Illinois native Russ Kilgore up 10 spots, up to 13th now in that 7 machine. He's making tracks.
Yeah, what's the fuel window here, English? We worked on it last night. Do you remember?
Oh, I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning.
I think it's around 24 to 26.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
27.
Yeah, we figured it was somewhere between probably 25 and 28, somewhere right in there.
Right. We'll be looking for that as long as it stays green.
It kind of threw off our numbers when we first started because, of course, the first few laps here, you can run it wide open, but after that, you got to start lifting, and that's when you start to, you have to save a little fuel there or you end up in the wall. But, yeah, I think that's kind of what we figured, somewhere 25, 26, 28.
As we take a look at this battle up here at the front from the perspective of that 81 Jonathan Osborne, man, he better have some popcorn ready or something, because this is going to be a great show happening in front of him here tonight, and it's going to happen all race long. As, man, these guys have right around a little over 100 laps left to try to figure this one out.
Anderson says, "Go Albert." So does Country Boy Anderson. And Russell Endicott pulling for his dad, Russ. Saying, "Go Dad." So we got all the families. All the families are on Facebook tonight, it seems like.
And if you're smart, you're going to look at Albert Anderson's truck. Beautiful purple Toyota. It says "Shooting Dice in Waco" on it.
As the 728 of Tim Pope gets the job done there on John Ellis, but John Ellis says, "Not yet, young one. We got some racing to do." He's going to try to cross him up here.
Crossover, man, it really is a big deal here. He did it over there in the trial.
He did, but man, that 728 of Tim Pope, he's not going to back down. We know he's going to come right on back with the challenge here. Coming down this back straightaway, picked up a little bit of that side draft from this truck, and he's now looking back up to the inside as Jess Vaught had managed his way back. He got passed by the 81 of Osborne and was able to steal that position back. He's got Dale Adamson and Mike Adamson still having a battle behind him here as the 81 and the 51 almost touched doors.
Crossover in the trioval was 221, try to get back up around the 728 of Pope, and he'll clear him. Here we go, do-si-do, swing your partner as the 728 with another crossover comes on down.
And, you know, this is...
to the back stretch, he'll be out by a nose.
This is the exact same thing we saw happen here between Vaught and Pope a little bit earlier on. And you got to imagine these guys are just absolutely cooking their tires.
Big bump to the 33, courtesy of the 81 of Jonathan Osborne. But he hit him square. He didn't hit him hard. Didn't cause any damage. Good little bump there. John K on YouTube pulling for Albert Anderson. And Yopa J joining us on YouTube says, "I'm just here to watch a big old wreck." We might see one, we might not. These guys race so clean here at Autoclub. I'm not sure we'll see a big old wreck tonight.
And man, you know, if these guys would stop fighting up here at the front, we'd go and check out some other cars. But man, this race up here at the front has been A-plus quality work. You do not see this kind of racing here in real-world NASCAR because they just... Let's just face it, real-life NASCAR guys, they don't know how to race.
Why push it so hard early, though, and get these tires worn out? Because now the 221's having to fend off the 33. I mean, these two front guys just killed their tires.
Well, Mike Adamson and Mike Everidge are in the pits.
So
tires and fuel combo. Yep, I believe that's started.
Yes, indeed. Well, you got to imagine, at least for John Ellis, he's out here basically just doing his victory lap. He's just looking to add to that win column here tonight. But I mean, Pope and Vaught, man, they have something to race for here. I mean, it's a big difference between second and third.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, all these guys are competitors. They want to win every race. Let's not kid ourselves about the ego of a race car driver. If you ask them, hey, what races you really looking to do well at this year, they're going to say, I want to win all of them. And that's why Ellis is out here pushing it. and doing his best out there. He's been getting some great pushing from the 254 with Dale Adamson. As we mentioned, that cool throwback Mountain Dew.
As the 221 gets outside, scrapes the wall a little bit, so we're going to be 3 wide here, headed through this kind of front, I don't want to say not so straight, as they head off now down into turns 1 and 2, side by side, double file.
America's driver in the pit. Rolling Dice in Waco. That reminds me of, what was that singer's name? Old Billy Joel.
Oh,
no, Dale Adamson just wrecked the 33.
Oh, we probably need a caution for that.
Staying green.
Osborne got involved in that one too.
Thankfully,
down on power.
Yeah, thankfully it looked like everyone was able to at least drive out of it. I don't think anyone completely went around, but that's going to cause some mayhem here back in the second half of this field as people try to scatter around some of these slower moving trucks. So we got Kelly Keel, Jonathan Osborne, Jess Vaught, Dale Adamson all coming down, and all of that just, you know, by some decent bump drafting efforts there from Dale.
Yeah, and I say wrecked him. It was not, obviously not intentional, but it happened at the perfect time because now these guys are down pit road. They're going to check that fast repair, come back out, 4 tires of fuel, and start all over again.
Yeah, and it happened early enough in the race to where they should survive it. Jess Vaught should come back and be fine.
That they should, as Timothy Pope and John Ellis now making their way down into the pit lane. Same thing with Russ Kilgore, and it looks like George Rincon. Jeffrey Ottinger is going to stay out. He's going to lead a lap here, move up 18 spots from where he started to get this lap led, as we got the 82 and Mike Everidge there behind him. He's already pitted. He's looking to try to get his lap back here.
Great job by Austin Paul in that 3 to get that car slowed, or truck slowed down. This is not the easiest pit lane to come down on, but it's not the hardest either. I'm sure if you've hit it a couple of times in practice and get comfortable with it, you shouldn't really have too much of an issue here.
Whatsoever, as the 214 comes in, using every inch of that apron as he can, as the 81 goes around behind him. Jonathan Osborne having an issue. I don't know if he was trying to re-come down into the pits or what, but he definitely had something happen there to him.
A lot of damage. He's got a meatball flag. He's going to have to get that fixed.
Yeah, when he caught the tail end of that crash, and it looked like he hit the, I think Jess Vaught pretty square in the front end. I'm pretty sure it shook up his motor pretty bad.
Well, once when everything cycles back around here, because everybody has pitted, Mike Adamson is going to be your leader here with that short pit strategy. He's got John Ellis trying to chase him down. He's got about a 3-second gap there as Ellis and Timothy Pope came out pretty close together. And it looked like Timothy Pope having a little bit of a sluggish pit crew out there tonight. Losing a couple seconds, and that's what cost him that position to John.
Team Chachi in the house tonight. Connie Goodman on YouTube saying, "Go drive that thing, 81. Race Osborne, race."
Jess Vaught is in a good battle with Albert Anderson right now. Looks like he's about to overtake him. Ooh. Don Hurts had gotten the mix and didn't want to be there.
Yeah, so they're going to be almost 3 wide here as they came across the line. It looks like Jess Vaught was able to get that position. He's starting to clinch a little bit there, but does stabilize. That fantabulous little purple truck of that to America's driver, Albert Anderson, and looking as pretty as ever.
Shiny looking truck.
Reminds me kind of that neon light museum there in Vegas.
Yeah. I love the neon. I'm drawn to it.
Like a fly.
Yeah, like a moth to a flame. I see neon, I turn into the place that has it.
Edith Anderson with a unique question on Facebook we don't get very often. She says, she says, question for the commentators, are you guys near each other? Well, it sounds like we're all sitting in the same booth, but that's a big negative. I'm in Louisiana. Adam Turner's in Oklahoma, southern Oklahoma. And Alan Brown, you're way up in southern New Hampshire. So we're spread out all over the country, but we've been all friends for years. So
might be
geographically we're not.
Yeah, separated by distance, close at heart. That's what we like to say.
Oh, brought together by iRacing itself, really. So
yeah, that's a fact.
Our love for this, it's pretty cool, and getting to talk to everybody out there has made it even more fun.
That's my favorite part of it. Country Boy Anderson saying that's a beautiful truck, Albert. Yeah, that all came from kind of an inside joke. Turner loves to talk about shooting dice in Waco. The old story of Billy Joe Shaver got in a fight over his ex-wife with some guy and ended up shooting some dude in the cheek or something. A long time ago.
It did happen.
It did happen. Yeah.
They were shooting dice in Waco. It ended up with somebody being shot between the mother and the other.
So we take a look here at the. Excuse me. As we take a look at the 29 of Hot Rod Mayberry, finding himself in the top 10 right now, right around in 7th. He's been trying to catch up to that 7 of Russ Kilgore, but he has a very hungry 33 just fought, looking to make up a ton of time before this competition caution comes out.
Yeah, Hot Rod Dave Mayberry, he's one of the pillars that really holds this league up, holds it together. He's done a lot of work behind the scenes for last few seasons. So salute to the 29, Dave Hot Rod Mayberry out there being competitive. He's in 7th position right now.
As the lead up to Mike Adamson has started to come falling down, it looks like Mike really starting to struggle on those tires now, as John Ellis is starting to run some of his better laps on the older tires yet this stint.
Yeah, those are going to hurt him. He's 4-lap older tires, and they're just going to kind of gradually get worse and worse. As I'm watching Jess Vaught out of turn, when he turns out of turn 4, it looks like he puts the slide job like here at a dirt track. Pretty interesting technique.
Yes.
What a run he got off too right there, diving inside of the 82.
Just looking at that little battle, like I said, man, he's trying to make up as much ground as he can. We will have a competition yellow coming right around lap 62 to 65, somewhere in that window. We don't know, you don't know, these drivers don't know, so it's going to be a surprise to everybody when that flag does fly.
Only the shadow knows. Isn't that what they used to say? But the 81 had to disconnect and reconnect, so he is back. So that ought to make Connie Goodman happy. As thank you for the compliment, Connie. We appreciate it. We love doing it for y'all. And Country Boy, we like to try to answer everybody's questions. Sometimes we miss one or two, but we try to get to everybody. So we love the audience participation, and keep in mind that we're going to have a fan of the race at the end of this deal. And it might be the last race of the season, but it's not the last race. We're going to be here with you guys starting back in June. We're going to be back for the next season. So y'all stay tuned and keep those comments rolling.
As the 221 John Ellis retakes that lead away from the 51 of Mike Adamson. And it looks like Mike might have saved a little bit extra in the tank to try to put on a counter effort here. I don't know how well it's going to work out for him, but we'll stay here for just a second because we do have some action going on back there in 8th, 9th, and 10th. We got a close battle going on back there.
Yeah. Albert Anderson, America's driver, looks like he's going to try to take that position away from Mike Everidge here coming out of 4.
He is that 2 flying around that outside. Oh, the 82 might have snagged the outside wall just a smidgen there. And that's caused his truck to check up just a little bit, as right in front of him he's going to watch that 29 of Hot Rod Mayberry and 2 of Anderson and the 28 of George Rincon have a little battle here for 7th and 8th.
Born Chachi, driver of the number 81, says over on YouTube, he says, well guys, looks like I ran out of talent. I don't know what happened. He might not have had his fast repair checked or something, so looks like he might be done.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh. Not good news for the 81.
As we take a ride on the roof here with the 214 of Jeffrey Ottinger. He's got that 82 on his outsides, trying to sneak up on that 3 of Austin Paul, running that kind of middle to low line. And with these seams at Autoclub, that's actually a kind of tricky move. The truck can get very unbalanced. And I think that's where we've seen some of these guys, when they've gotten a little loose, is when they've been crossing seams in this corner.
Well, and as stable as these trucks are, we talk about the stability in this platform all the time. But yeah, they're not foolproof. You can, if you really work at it, you can get these things upset, and they will come around on you. Yes, Maddie Anderson, you did see Russ Endicott. She's on here cheering for Anderson and Russ. So is Cindy Endicott, pulling for Russ. Donna Mosser on here pulling for Albert, America's Driver. We appreciate all the comments from all the family out there. We got all the family tonight. They must know it's the last race of the season.
That they must, as we got Timothy Pope out there all by him lonesome in third right now. He's trying to run down that 51 of Mike Adamson, but he's still got a second and a half to go before he gets up to there. But if you look behind that 7 of Russ Kilgore, you can see that 01 of Kelly Keel.
He'll sneak up on you in a hurry. That cat's consistent, and he's good pretty much everywhere. And this track is one of those ones where we haven't seen too many people that aren't good here in this league. They all run it pretty well. Chachi did tell us that his truck got destroyed. He used up 2 of his fast repairs, and he's done for the night. Well, Chachi, let me just be the first to tell you what a great season we've had watching you. Definitely no shame and you know, getting wrecked out at the last race. Heck, you were the pole sitter tonight, so congrats on a very successful season, and looking forward to seeing you again next season here in just a few short weeks.
As the 214 of Jeffrey Onger makes his way through into this top 10, now into 9th, dropping Dave Hot Rod Mayberry back into 10th. He's got to do some fighting here because the 3 of Austin Paul is starting to kind of creep on up on him, as the 14 of John Herzik looks like he's coming back down into the pits for his second go around of pit stops.
Yeah, he's probably itching
Kinda
for
early.
tires. Yeah, he's itching for tires probably. We are going to have a competition caution 62 to 65, so the longer you can stay out here, the longer you can stretch it to that competition caution.
Well, if you're shaping where you stop based on that, that's perfect. You know, stopping at 21, stop at 42, and then, you know, when the competition caution comes out, I mean, you're going to be running just as consistent as you were, you know. So
Yeah, and these guys
there's a
put a
method
lot.
to the madness.
They do put a lot of thought into it. There's a lot of teamwork and brain power. They're just not turning left and being dumb like you think race car drivers are. No, there is some brains behind this operation here, and it takes a little bit of smart and skill to get up there in victory lane.
As Mike Adamson making that dive down into pit road, you got the 33 of Jess Vaught continuing to climb back up this leaderboard. He's now trying to get around that 01 of his teammate Kelly Keel there. Now continue to try to hunt down that 7 of Russ Kilgore. Man, Jess Vaught knew what he had to do to get back into this race, man, and he has done nothing but excel at it.
I saw Austin Paul in that 3 machine. He kind of was running the high line around up above the 29 Dave Hot Rod Mayberry there. He seems to be pretty comfortable up there. We did see him get, I bet he was 3 inches off the outside wall, but it didn't seem to faze him. He just kept on pressing on up there. Some of these guys are pretty comfortable running up high.
Yeah, you just got to worry about kind of the track wear and the marbles up there. And it's not an easy feat to stick to that wall. I know it.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. You're sitting on the left side of that truck. Sometimes it's hard to judge exactly where the right front of your truck is. You know, so good job if you can stay up there the whole race.
Absolutely, as Hot Rod Mayberry looks to try to sneak back underneath that 3 of Austin Paul. Getting a little bit of run here, coming out of turn number 4. Just not quite able to keep that momentum, though. And he's not going to be able to take that position away just quite yet.
They're fighting it out. They're trying to shoot dice like they're in Waco, but we'll see if they're ready for that at the end of this thing.
As Russ Kilgore continues to try to hold up that 33 for as long as he can there. He's running pretty, I don't want to say defensive line there, but it's one of those interesting, right in the middle of the track, I'm going to make it as impossible as possible to pass me kind of lines.
We do have a name suggestion for that paint that Albert Anderson is running. From Country Boy Anderson, he says, we're going to call that the Purple People Eater.
I love it. It is a beautiful shade of purple and the neon pops. I could see that at your bar room down the street.
It wouldn't surprise me if that was painted at D&D Race Graphics.
Can't confirm that, but he is our race sponsor for sure.
That looks like something he would do just because it's that damn good.
Well, talking about another purple truck, the 37 of Dustin really works his way around the 254 of Dale Adamson, who's been struggling ever since that first little incident. He looked like he might have been trying to make a charge here with Osborne after the pit stops, but just not quite able to make anything stick to vault him up that leaderboard as Just Fought now gets by that 7 of Russ Kilgore. He's looking to close that gap even more. It's about 3 3/4 seconds up to Timothy Pope, who's eaten away at that lead by the 221 of John Ellis. It's now just under a second. Ellis starting to run into a little bit of lap traffic here. He was able to sneak around that 4 of Dion Jones, who is currently the last car still running here tonight in the 20th place.
Well, we hadn't talked about him in a couple of laps, but the 7 of Russ Kilgore is now up 19 positions.
If he can stay on all 4 wheels, he's going to have a good race.
He is one of the guys we've seen up in the fence and going up into space and all that kind of stuff, some of these big wrecks. But, hey, here at Autoclub, man, we don't see a whole heck of a lot of that.
Well, we're spread out now.
Go ahead, and we've seen a couple of two truck incidents, but nothing bad enough to bring out a yellow flag yet. So,
right. The only time we may see something wild, it would be, the restart at the comp caution, or maybe near the end if things get kind of close. So, right now we're just kind of cruising along, and as you should be. We're trying to get through halfway of this thing, and then start cranking it down from there.
He's in the pits.
Yeah, so very interesting. I'm looking at some of these people when they pitted. We're starting to creep up on that lap 50 to lap 52 mark, because I think just about everybody had come down between laps 25 and 26. So that's when we're really going to start seeing people maybe come down, look for that next set of tires, and get some, maybe even just get some fuel to make sure they get to the end of this stage. As man, it's only got about 12 laps to go, plus a little extra for that stage caution.
Yep, looks like that's really the call here. There's a lot of guys coming in. I think it's a perfect setup for, gives you a little chance for a breather here at this competition caution, but with some decent fuel and tires, and just go ahead and reset, when we have that caution. Head back into the pits.
Between 62 and 65, right? That's what
right.
That's what we're looking at. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then everybody should come down during that, I would imagine, as well.
I would imagine the question is, are people making full tire stops, or are they going to maybe try to save something for the end just in case? As much as this has been, green flag racing and everything, things can change in a hurry. All it takes is one driver somewhere, not even towards the front or racing around with anybody, just one little mistake, losing control here. You know, it could block the track and people try to have to get around and maybe not paying attention because, you know, you kind of get, you know, the highway eyes out there, especially if you don't have anyone around you. You lose focus, just kind of puttering around, and next thing you know, all hell can break loose.
And that's one of the things about green flag racing. You know, we've seen it here so many times, and we've seen it at a few other tracks where, you know, we'll run, we call it flag to flag, from the green flag at the beginning of the race to the checkered flag at the end, no cautions. And that is really taxing on these drivers' mind, because the amount of focus that goes into racing a track like this, and, you know, being aware of your surroundings and stuff like that, it gets a little bit easier when they start to space out some, but it's still very intense. It's not quite as bad as maybe a plate track, but you're still trying to concentrate on backing up your lift points and stuff, conserving tires. There's a lot of things to think about, and it really wears on your mind.
It does, and this is basically the half of an actual NASCAR race here, 250 miles, so it does wear on you throughout the night.
And it does, as Russ Kilgore and Jess Vaught both come down into the pits. John Ellis now making that breakdown into pit lane. He's got that 728 as Timothy Pope hot on his heels. Last time Timothy Pope came in first and had a poor pit stop. Now let's see what happens here with with Ellis in the lead, as George Rincon and Jeffrey Ottinger come down, as well with Austin Paul.
It's the other drivers that are jealous of Ellis. I mean, he's had one heck of a rise in stardom this year. Looks like Robert Jordan at 204 with a black flag there. Not sure if that was on entry or exit or.
You gotta watch that pit road speed, as looks like Ellis will get a just fuel pit stop here. Same thing with Timothy Pope. I think Timothy Pope might have taken a little extra fuel as they start to kind of race out of pit road here. But they do have Mike Adamson, who came in much earlier, back on lap 42, and he did take a full pit stop, tires and everything. So you got to imagine he's going to be pretty quick, and he might even, not that they do stage points or anything, but he might win the stage.
I mean, just getting out there leading a lap or so, you know, will get you a point. We all know that. Kathleen Anderson says, I don't know what I'm going to do with my Wednesday nights until they start back up again. Well, you can go back and rewatch the races on YouTube if you want to. I think I may start knitting again. Not really sure. Cindy Endicott says, keep on trucking, Russ.
Speaking of knitting, look at this ball of yarn we got going on here between George Rincon, Austin Paul, and Jeffrey Ottinger. These guys all came out of the pits right around the same time, same spot, same everything. So they've knotted things all back up.
Very nice. Knotted back up. Chachi says over there on YouTube, he says, you should be able to take 4 tires every pit stop. You shouldn't have to do 2. You have enough sets. If you just limit it to every 25 laps or so, you should be fine. Yeah, that's kind of what we were thinking, Chachi, is that, you know, they were pretty generous with the tires on this one because they know how abrasive this surface is. So, yeah, I think we'll see 4 tire stops from everybody every time.
As we got another little duel going on here between Kilgore, Keel, and Vaught. All these guys looking to try to make up those last second positions, as we're about 6 laps away from that competition caution window with John Ellis in the lead, but he's got Mike Adamson right there on his back bumper. A little bit of some lap truck traffic. I can't say that one 10 times fast. As those new tires are definitely going to be helping out that 51 of Adamson.
Well, Adam, Xfinity cars next season, this is going to be a blast, man. I mean, the trucks have been great these past couple of seasons, but I think the fans are ready to see something different. I think the drivers are ready to mix it up and do a little something different. And let's face it, the Xfinity cars, they're a lot of fun, and they separate the men from the boys in the the girls from the ladies, I mean, they are tough to drive. So we're going to see some guys putting in a little extra practice, I think, next season.
They're definitely tougher to drive than these trucks. Unless you've driven one a bunch, I think they're going to have a hard time adjusting. Because these trucks, they're really fun to race. But it's a different skill set in Xfinity Series. So you might see some guys that are kind of struggling here in these trucks and actually take off during that Xfinity season. So it's going to be fun to watch. A little bit different. Still the same drivers doing the same cool stuff, but a different vehicle definitely changes the game.
As Jeffrey Ottinger makes one last dash to get around the 82 Mike Everidge, and he does. He's going to try to now hold him off here, maybe even catch up to Albert Anderson, but he's starting to run out of laps as Albert Anderson moves himself up into 6th, passing Kelly Peel on the outside here, picking up a big old run. He's going to try to maybe catch a little draft action here with the 33 of Just Vaught, maybe help him sling himself around and pick up a kind of top 5 spot here before we hit that halfway mark.
Jess Vaught is a man on a mission tonight in that number 33 truck. He has got to finish in front of Pope, at least a position or 2 in front of Pope, and then bonus points might come into play. So, I mean, 1 point separating these guys coming into this race. That's where the real championship race is happening. Is for second place tonight. As we've mentioned, John Ellis pretty much got first place locked up. He's just out there tonight just trying to be competitive and maybe try to get another win.
As Anderson on those newer tires easily gets around Just Vaught there. I think Just recognized the situation and let him right on by. As Ottinger and Keel now have a little go around here, looking to try to sneak his way up into that top 7 is that 214.
Yeah, Ottinger's having a pretty good night. Hot Rod Dave Maryberry's, I think he's run pretty well as well. Sitting in 14th right now, but we've seen him up front a little bit.
And we've also seen, especially once when that competition yellow comes out and everything gets stacked back up, man. Yeah, this first half of this race has been kind of a gaining knowledge experience for a lot of these drivers, as the 214 looks to make his way around that 33 of Just Vaught now. So Just Vaught, he might be learning something about these tires, but he might also be thinking about strategy later on. He might be, as the competition yellow comes out here on lap number 62. Mike Adamson picks up that fake stage win here right around that halfway point through this race.
Yeah, so right there at 62 is when we threw the flag.
Beginning, wow.
Yeah, somebody else we hadn't talked about, George Rincon. I see him having a good second half of the race. He's sitting there in 10th, going to be stacked back up in top 10. I think he's going to have a good run.
George has had a great second half of the season. He's taken that truck, that number 28, and he's done great things with it here in the second half of the season. Let's see where he's sitting. He's sitting 5th in the points coming into this race, and quietly moving up the leaderboard, man. He's done a great job. Winless on the season, but he always improves his finish by at least, on average, 9 positions a race. So, I mean, that's what you want to do. You want to be moving in a positive direction every week, and the driver of the 28, George Rincon, he knows how to do that.
While we wait for these drivers to get stacked back up behind this pace truck here and possibly see another round of pit stops happen here, let's take another shout out at some of our sponsors like Keller Williams of Johnson City, Tennessee. You can reach out to Ricky at 423-444-0454. If you need a realtor in that Johnson City, Tennessee area, Ricky can help you out. But not only that, he's got contacts around the country. So if you get in contact with him, he'll get in contact with his people. And you know how contacts work. Your guy talks to my guy, and man, next thing you know, you got yourself a great experience there. And buying or selling a house is something you do not want to do alone. get yourself a good quality realtor. As this field comes on down into pit lane, who's going to be our biggest winners and losers here, with Mike Adamson leading this charge?
I see some fuel-only stops. Well, is that from... Never mind. That's from the last... That was from right before the stage. I'm sorry.
That's right.
I
Well,
always look at the stupid scoring thing wrong.
well, you just got to use the big brain you got down there in Louisiana. We do have the 6 sets of tires total, so people are going to try to save them at some point. Looks like we might have a couple of takers here. Russ Kilgore?
Yeah, Russ Kilgore, same thing with Dustin Really, followed by John Ellis, then Mike Adamson, Timothy Pope, George Rincon, Albert Anderson, Jeffrey Ottinger, Kelly Keel, and then Jess Vaught. As I don't know, we might need to take a quick replay at that. I think maybe the 37 of Dustin Really, he might have missed his pit box there.
I don't understand the not taking 4 here. I understand that maybe you want to save a set for later, but as talking with the driver of the 81 earlier, you should have enough tire sets to, if you're only going to pit 5 times, you've got 5 full sets of tires available to you, because it's 6 sets total, but that includes the one you've got on your truck at the beginning of the race. So I don't understand the not taking 4 tires every stop, unless they anticipate some late cautions. And heck, if you got an extra set above a few other guys, and you've got decent track position and you know how to save tires, maybe that'll help you out late.
Well, hey, Brown, did you see what I saw?
I did not.
Really, on the first run through, missed his pit box entirely. Came down on pit road, didn't even get after it. He just wasn't close to it. I guess his crew chief didn't let him know where it was. It was a lot of traffic, might have gotten his way. So looks like he's had to come back around and is coming out of the pits now.
That's what I thought. Is the lights on that pace truck are off, so a quick competition yellow here to get these guys restarted back up. You got that 7 of Russ Kilgore restarting everything up at the front with John Ellis on his outside, and you got some hungry cats right behind him, the 51 of Mike Adamson and the 728 of Timothy Pope. The 28 of George Rincon out there as well, restarting right around 5th, with the Albert Anderson sneaking up into that kind of top 5 area, starting in 6th. Got Kelly Keel, Jeffrey Ottinger there as well. Same thing with Austin Paul and Jess Vaught, all up inside that top 10. So definitely be on the lookout for that 33 to make some big-time moves here as we get ready to go back to green flag racing.
Well, this is a first. Here's some comments from the actual iRacing client, because Greg Dobson, who's a spectator, he's in the spectator channel, and he's saying, boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys. And here we go.
He stole my line as they go 2 by 2 back to green flag racing across the stripe. Man, look at that 221 of Ellis. Maybe getting a little help from that 728 of Pope to try to get around him here quickly, knowing that he might be on some older tires. And just trying to stretch this pace out really quickly here from the get-go. Big wad of trucks moving through turns 1 and 2. Looks like Timothy Pope using that outside line to get a big run on the 221 there, so he's going to retake the lead here. So we had 2 lead changes on this lap alone to get this race back under green.
Junior says it's going to get really interesting now, and it sure is back there. We were 3 wide back here for a little while with a couple of Vigilante Force teammates of the 33 and the 01, had a guy in between.
And we just had a little crash. Dustin Really was involved. Looks like Robert Jordan was involved.
And oh no, Dustin Really towing to the pits. Let's take a quick look back as we are not going to see a caution. Oh, it was 3 wide there. Oh, just absolute heartbreak there. Deon Jones getting involved. He was having a clean race. The 204 getting involved as well. I think they were just kind of getting squeezed on up into each other there, and that's unfortunate there for that 37. He just had nowhere else to go. He was as far up into that wall as he possibly could be.
Well, he did roll snake eyes shooting dice in Waco missing that pit box, put him back in the back, and then that happened to him. So really tough couple laps for Dustin Really.
That 7 of Kilgore is trying his best to stay up here with these top 3 of Pope and Ellis. Pope in the position he wants to be, because he knows if he finishes there, man, he's got absolutely no chance of losing any spots in the championship standings to maintain a second place finish here tonight. Has got Albert Anderson making his way up into that top 5. He's now got that 33 of Just Spot. Hungry, looking for that win here tonight to make up some of those extra grounds that he needs to find his way into that second spot on this championship podium.
Driver of the 37, Dustin Really, has called it a night. He is manually disconnected from the session. He's saying, "That's you guys next season."
That was tough to watch. Just unfortunate for him.
He's had a great season. He's a great driver. They were calling him the Big Show Killer earlier in the season because they'd go race over in the Big Show League doing some exhibition stuff, and he'd just go over there and just mop the floor with guys. You know, Dustin Really, one of those guys that I think he does a little street stock racing in real life. And he's a great competitor on here. Just not his night tonight.
Man, look at these guys as Adamson and Vaught were leaning on each other through that turn. Behind him, you had Anderson and Kilgore leaning on each other. Man, are we at like USA International Speedway or something like that? Because that is something you would see at a short track, not at a super speedway like this.
Well, the lights are on. I mean, maybe they're getting confused.
Got that 01 of Kelly Keel currently riding around in 7th. He's got the 28 of George Rincon and the 7 of Kilgore here on that outside line, trying to make up some ground here. Moves his way up into this kind of close to the top 5 area as Albert Anderson doing a great job here, following Just Spot through a lot of this traffic. He's now in line with Pope, Ellis, Adamson, and Vaught.
It's online on Facebook telling Albert, just keep on sneaking up there. Doing a pretty good job right now in the top 5 position.
Man, as this battle for 7th continues to truck along, that 7 of Kilgore, the 01 of Keel, and the 28 of Rincon, all still battling it out, trying to get every possible position that they can out of this race.
Yeah, the Rod Baker Ford F-150 doing his best on the outside line, but it looks like he'll succumb to the speed of the 01 in another Ford. They'll do a little single file action here for a few laps.
As we sit on the roof of the 214, Jeffrey Ottinger watching this battle that's going on right in front of him. Of course, the more you see guys battle in front of you, you're like, man, it's great for them because they're burning out their tires, but I still got to try to figure out a way to get around them.
Were you trying to say roof? You said roof, but did you mean to say roof?
Yeah, there's an inside joke going on with that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe that's how they say it in southern New Hampshire.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know.
Roof. We kind of understood it, I think. We have to listen to your Louisianaisms, so let the man be.
I know.
Good racing though. You're watching the right truck there with Ottinger. Really good racing.
Yeah, you got the 3 of Austin Paul there as well. He's been having a great run here, kind of keeping it to that close to that top 10 spot. He's got the 29 of Bayberry and the 82 of Everidge around him. As man, oh man, it looks like we're almost going to go 4 wide here. Going to go 3 wide. The 7 gets tagged. He's going to go up into the wall as the 214 having a little bit of an issue. Does able to get everything all straightened back out. But man, we knew that one was coming as soon as we saw it almost going 4.
So when this happens next season in Xfinity cars, that right there is going to be a pile up, boys.
I just had the same thought. We must have the same brain because they would never be able to save it.
No.
Like, great save by Russ Kilgore in the 7 and the 214. Xfinity cars, that would have been, everything would have been broken there.
Of Of course, all of that's allowing that 999 of Jeff Snyder to kind of sneak his way up through some of these guys. Same thing with that 254, Dale Adamson. He's looking to try to make a little comeback as we're 3 wide coming out of turn number 2 here. You got Dale, Jeff, and Jeffrey all side by side going down this back straightaway.
Yeah, I don't even care what's going on up front right now. I'm watching these guys battle it kind of in the middle of the pack. Really, really fun racing to watch. Russ Kilgore's coming down to the pits, must have some damage.
Yeah, he did take a pretty good hit to that outside wall, so I would imagine he does have some steering damage, but it looks like he also only did a fuel-only stop that last pit stop, so he could be thinking, it's about time for tires right around that, 20 lap mark or so.
That's a great call right there. I think that I think you would, if there was more guys that did go with that strategy, I think they'd be pitting right about now anyway.
So
yeah, and everybody has their own strategy. So
well, and some of them might have been hedging the bets, saying, well, they're going to stack us back up. Let's just take minimum service, and then because they're going to stack everybody up, maybe we'll get a caution, and then we can come down and get some a couple of free tires, and maybe make some track position.
As we saw there, the 82 of Mike Everidge getting around that 01 of Kelly Keel to try to steal 7th away from him, but Kelly's not letting that rear bumper go whatsoever. He's going to try to stick it to him going through turns 3 and 4, but just not quite getting enough clean air to really make that truck stick. He's going to drift all the way up to the outside wall. I think he did snag it just a little bit. It wasn't too bad. Something you might see at Darlington or something like that. So he's going to have a little bit of paint missing from that outside of the 01, but he's still going to be able to drive that thing around.
I'll tell you what, who's taking advantage of the clean air right now? Pope's just out there riding right now. He's running his line that he knows works. He's not worried about the guys behind him. He's just out there riding around, making sure he hits his marks. He's not too worried about Ellis back there right now. Hey, if Ellis gets around him, guess what? It's not going to change the outcome for him really at all. It might. That's just 1 point between him and Jess Vaught at the end of this deal. But I don't think he's sweating anything right now. He's enjoying this clean air. He's out there just running like he's running a qual lap, running by himself out there.
Yeah, that's right. You basically need Pope and Vaught to switch positions and still have that 221 into 51 of Mike Adamson in between them for that to really shake things up standings-wise. Both guys have led a lap here, and I believe that's one of the only bonus points other than the race win. I think the race winner gets a couple bonus points here as well. So,
well, and if Pope can lead the most laps, that should be another point. So that's something I think that Vaught is thinking about as he's making a run down here, and he's going to make the pass on 51. Oh, not quite clear. Had to get out of it there.
Not quite, and that's the risk you take here at Autoclub. You really need to get those moves to stick. I mean, we call them slide jobs. Obviously, the dirt track community would be all up in arms over it, but that's essentially what you do. You just send it on down into the inside, just like Jess is doing now. Problem is, you really can't make it stick. Your only option is to drift up the racetrack like he is doing there. Again, having to lift out of that throttle. And that 51, man, he is sticking to that outside line, not giving him an inch of room.
Yeah, the Florida native, whoa, a little bit of bump in the quarter panel there to the Florida native, the 51 of Adamson, Limitless Motorsports, Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet. Yeah, he took a little shot right there to the quarter panel from the 33 of Vaught. Just, as you mentioned, trying to use that sliding up the track, what is that early entry, that early attack on the corner, and then just letting the tires slide you up the track like that.
Yeah, but both of them were so good. They held their line, barely lost any speed. Next year, Xfinity cars, that could be a different story. So these trucks are super durable, like you mentioned before.
all the while, look who's sitting right behind those two. Albert Anderson in that too, man. He must be licking his chops seeing these guys just absolutely tear up their rubber right in front of his eyes.
And he's kind of riding behind him. He's not really fighting anybody right now for position. I'm sure he'd like to have this deal in front of him settled. And it looks like it might be settled for now, as Vaught able to make the pass and hold on to that position at least for now.
How excited was Albert last week winning that thing?
Oh, man. Hey, look, that cat right there, America's driver, he's had all this family support, friends supporting him online, and, been struggling to get that first win. And we thought that it might come at Talladega or Daytona or someplace like that. And sure as it was raining here the other day, he got it at Talladega. So we were all overjoyed for him.
As that too does make his way around that 51 of Mike Adams, and I've got a feeling since they are in a team communication, Mike's saying, hey Albert, I'm going to be pitting here in a couple laps. I'm just going to let you cruise on by, make up as much time as you can here. Maybe catch back on up to that 33 and slow him down a little bit. Get out in front of him, and who knows, once when all the pit stop cycles and everything gets complete, maybe just that little bit's going to help out Mike.
And I believe that two-man team is going to become four next season, as I think Greg Dobson, I think he's going to be joining Limitless Motorsports as one of the additional drivers.
Well, at this season it was a four-man team. You had Burke, you had Anderson, you had Mike Adamson, and then you had Dale Adamson as those four drivers working together over at that Limitless Motorsport team. Of course, this Vigilante Racing League loving the use of teams here. Like, you got Team Goodweiser, you got George Rincon there, Mike Everidge and John Ellis working together. And you got Vigilante Force, Hot Rod Mayberry, Jess Vaught, Kelly Keel, all working together. And of course, you got Vigilante Omegas missing a few members here tonight, but you still have the Paul brothers working things out. Got Austin Paul, the three, man. He has been kind of like Albert, just sneaking his way up through this field as the 221 of Ellis comes down into the pits. Austin Paul into sixth as of right now, as the 82 Mike Everidge sneaks on down into pit road. Oh, making sure he checks up to slow down the 82 of Everidge, not get a speeding penalty. The three of Austin Paul made up a good chunk of time there. He was almost able to maybe make a pit road pass here.
Syndicate did get hit for a back down under green and served that. So Russ Endicott now 3 laps down.
As the 728 of Pope seeing everybody coming down, saying, I'm not going to fall for this one twice. He's coming down. He's probably going to take some fresh rubber here. As Jess Vaught follows him. Same thing with Albert Anderson and Jeffrey Ottinger, leaving that 72 of Chandler Paul out there. So Chandler Paul, he's going to lead a lap out here tonight.
And the man out there in that 72. He was one of those guys that he was off of racing for a while, but he was one of our biggest cheerleaders out there. And as far as cheering for the other guys in the league, especially the number 3 machine. Good to see the 72 out there leading the lap.
All of this happening within the final 40 laps of the season here, coming from Autoclub in this championship race. And of course, we would be remiss to forget our proud secondary sponsor here, to thank them once again for their efforts into providing kind of trophy slash plaque slash something physical you get to take home at the end of this. That's Stainless Piping Specialists. Excuse me. You can reach out to them at 928-685-6830 or email them there at sales@spsomro.com. As they've put in some great work here to provide the winner of this season, which is going to be John Ellis. Decent amount of hardware.
Yeah, he's going to get to put that on the bookshelf wherever he wants to put it. That's a beautiful trophy. stainless piping specialist made.
As I'm getting flagged here, Dale Adamson having a little bit of an issue. Let's go back and see what happened with Dale. I wonder if he kind of came on and then came back off the track, coming off the pit road from his pit stops. Oh, and that caused, I think that was Hot Rod Mayberry to sneak up into that outside wall as people try to get around Dale as he had to really fight to get back going. I got a feeling, does the 254 have a penalty to serve there?
Yep, black flag has got to come back down. Albert Anderson Jr. saying, good move, son, keep it going, pulling for Albert. The third, Donna Mosser saying, dang, autocorrect. I was trying to say, woohoo, Albert. Came out something that did make sense, but we all know how autocorrect is. And Albert Anderson Jr., careful in the pits, no speeding, son. And he did the right thing. He didn't speed.
Oh, man, as the 214 of Jeffrey Ottinger, who had just recently pitted, was trying to work his way around that 72 of Chandler Paul out there in the lead. Ends up snagging that outside wall and kind of goes for a little bit of a grind out there. And that's going to cost him some speed, some momentum, and he might have a little bit of damage as that 72 makes that move to come peeling off down into pit road. So that's going to leave that 221 of John Ellis, who has absolutely marked his pit stops here tonight, out there in front once again of Timothy Pope and Mike Adamson. Just fought as well there. He still has that 7 of Russ Kilgore creeping up his back bumper ever so slightly, but he's looking straight into the eyes of that 51 Mike Adamson, who they had that little bit of incident before.
Starting to get good, boys. We got, what, 35 laps left? A little bit less now.
Starting to get good. Man, this race has been good since the first green flag.
Well, that's true,
I
but
think
this is
it's
where
starting to get more dramatic here.
this is where we start to fight.
Yeah, this
we
is where
see
the
fight and the
this
anger.
is where the aggression ramps up, boys.
Let the hatred run through you and drive that truck.
As the 33 with an aggressive move on the 51. I think the 51 to Mike Adamson, I think he might have just lifted just a touch to let that 33 go. That's what it looked like to me.
Well, not to mention that, but they now have some lap traffic to deal with between Dale Adamson and Russell Endicott here, who are racing for position between themselves here, 16th and 17th on the line between those two. So with them going side by side, man, I think maybe Mike having the right idea, just let the 33 punch the hole through, and man, after that it's just easy peasy.
Yeah, the 200 series numbers, the 3-digit numbers starting with 2, they're all rookie drivers to this league this season, including the 221 of Ellis, who's out really dominating this season so far. But yeah, 254 right here. Lap cars have every right to fight for their position, but I think when faced with a lap car like that, they're not going to fight them too hard. I think the 254 is more worried about the 257 there, fighting for position.
Yeah, and I've been a lap car many and many races. It's just not a good feeling watching those guys coming up on you, and you try your best to get out of the way but maintain some kind of racing speed. It's difficult when you're looking in that rear view.
Hey, man, you know, just like in real life, you just blame the equipment. You know, you just didn't have the equipment for this race. That's what I would do.
I didn't run out of talent. I ran out of money and equipment.
That's right.
Yeah, I could use that. I want to use that next time we get in here and race.
Well, John Osborne in the 81, our buddy Chachi, he said over there on YouTube, said, man, it hurts to watch this race and not be in it. You know, and he had mentioned earlier that this makes 2 championships in a row that he kind of wrecked himself out of, you know. But 204 in the wall, hard.
Right in front of the 221 as he was trying to make a move, checking him up a little bit. Same thing with the 728 of Timothy Pope, but Timothy Pope definitely didn't have to check up as much, so he was able to use that little incident there to close that gap back on up to John Ellis here, as we have just about 30 laps to go here in this race.
So Angry Indian 89, I guess he's got a question for you now, Alan. He says, are there many moose in New Hampshire?
It's the plural is moosin, and yes.
Moosin?
Moose, yeah, you got oxen, you know, that it's moosin.
I
Moosin?
don't think that's right.
Yeah, you get
Doesn't sound right.
It's mooses. Everybody knows that.
you get
Moosin.
you get flocks of meese.
Oh, Lord.
What's
What?
Well,
Interesting question.
the plural of crawfish is crawfish. It's not crawfishing. Crawfish is. I don't know.
That's a debate for another time as this race rages on. And talking about Jonathan Osborne, there's nothing to be worried about here. We all have our bad races. Hell of a season. Hope you're enjoying at least watching the race with us.
As the 221 looks to maybe cross up the 728 here, who had just taken that lead back away from John Ellis. Timothy Pope looking to just maintain that gap he's got there to that 33 of Just Fought. And man, putting that 221 in between them, man, that would add just that little bit of extra insurance.
Ooh, here we go with the 204 trying to cross up the 33. And then thinking better of it, deciding to get behind him and push him. Ooh, Yahtzee. You got some different strategies going on.
There is, and I'll tell you why Ellis is so fast. I'm just looking at his paint. Black Rifle, Coffee, and Natty Light. That's a good combination.
And you ain't kidding, as the Do-Si-Do continues up at the front. Looked like Ellis might have had a run there to take that spot away, but he's going to tuck back in line here, trying to sneak up through the inside a little bit, but not quite getting the run there that he wants. Has got another little battle here. The 7 in the 82, Mike Everidge having a battle in this top 10.
I'm just blown away by all the battles all over the place. It's really fun to watch, and like I was mentioning earlier, George Rincon sitting there in 6th place. Looks like he's going to be battling it out with Albert Anderson here in a second. He's having a really good second half to this thing. Mike Everidge and Russ Kilgore in a little battle as well.
Yeah, hopefully you all can still hear us. Looks like our server had a little mini conniptions go on, and if you just refresh pages, everything should be all right. So hopefully you can hear that to do that if you're missing some of this action going on out here on the racing track. Just like the 214 having a little bit of go about here with the 999 of Jeff Snyder.
What is it with our computers tonight? Everybody's having issues. It's not only just you. It's one of those things.
It's that heat wave going around as the 51, Mike Adamson coming down into the pits for the final time here tonight. And like you said, Turner, this is that money stop where you got to put everything you got into this stop and make sure you run a fantastic final 25 laps of this race. As looks like Timothy Pope saved a little extra tires on this stint as he's starting to run away from John Ellis just a little bit here, who's starting to fall back to that 33 of Just Fought.
There's some stuff going on. I'm trying to pull this thing up, see if I can hear it myself.
What happened? What are you listening for?
Yeah, we're having computer issues again. We're trying to make sure our audio's out there. Video's good.
So Russ Kilgore now making his final stop as well. As man, that 33 of Just Fought, he knows he's got to get around this 221 and hit a perfect pit stop here for this final segment of this race. He's doing everything that he can to make that happen. Albert Anderson as well, due to that 51 pitting down into pit road, now up into 4th. He's doing a pretty good job here, trying to put some space on that 28 of George Rincon himself. As the 999 Jeff Snyder and the 214 still having a little battle going on back here for a top 10.
Yeah, I'm checking on Twitch. I don't hear anything on Twitch.
I don't hear it on the Twitch. I don't know about the Switch and the other thing. You hear it on anything else?
Fast forward, check it out.
Facebook is good.
All right, Facebook's good. If you hear some of our nonsense, we don't have a real producer here. We have somebody producing, commentating, doing everything in the world to do all the work, and we want to thank him for doing all that, because English and I are just a couple idiots that don't know what we're doing.
Guilty as charged.
In the meantime, some of the action that we might have missed out there on the racing track is that 33 found his way around that 221 here as we're approaching their final pit stops here. You got that 999 in that 214 still nose to tail, but they have caught up to that 72 of Chandler Paul, who led a few laps here tonight up here in 8th. He's got a little ways to go before his final round of pit stops here. Kelly Keel sneaking on into the pit road now, picking up his last few spots to get some tires and have a nice finish here tonight. Just now has about 2 seconds to try to make up to Timothy Pope here.
Well, let's see here. Donna Mosser says, "Come on, Albert, bring it on home to Mama. Get up there and make something happen."
He very well could.
Did a pretty good job. He's putting himself in that position. He is now in 3rd place.
Yeah, Ellis, Everidge all coming down into pit road. Same thing with the 999. Jeff Snyder in the 29 of Hot Rod Mayberry coming down into the pits here. So Timothy Pope continues to lead the charge here up at that front. He's probably seeing that John Ellis behind him pitted, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that 728 come down within the next few laps here as he comes across the line. It is now 19 laps to go in this final race of the season. Albert Anderson coming down into pit road, looking to have a really good pit stop this final time, being very cautious, making sure to not pick up one of those pesky penalties that he's been known to get here a time or two.
So if you're Pope and Vaught, how long do you wait? How long do you stay out there before you come on down? Do you wait till the guys behind you start filing in? And if so, how many? How long do you wait? Or do you just follow the strategy that you've had? Looks like the 33 might be coming now.
Yeah, Pope is too.
Same thing with that 728 of Pope, but you know that 33 is going to be coming in as hot as possible, trying to close that gap. I mean, that's one of the best spots to make up time here is on pit road entry. If you can absolutely nail that, and you can make up a whole world of difference here as people continue to make that cycle down and around to get their final tires, final fuel, final everything here as Austin Paul in the 3 comes on down into the pits. That means Chandler Paul in that 72, he's going to be out there and he's going to lead a lap again.
And the man back up there leading another lap. I like it.
And he last pitted back on lap 90. Oh, that's going to be a stretch to try to make it 35 laps. I don't think they can make it on fuel that long. I think Chandler Man's going to have to come down at least one more time. It's 214 Jeffrey Ottinger coming down into the pits.
Ottinger's been solid all night in that 214 truck.
Well,
See what he can do as he comes back out on the track.
these are the money stops. This is where it's all going to pay out at the end here.
As everything, for the most part, up at the front has cycled around. Ellis was able to sneak his way back around Timothy Pope. So Timothy Pope on just a few laps, fresher tires, is going to try to chase down that 221 for the final time here this season. Same thing with that 33 of Jess Vaught. He was able to get a really good pit stop as well. Looks like all these pit crews were making their money's worth here tonight. Great times down there on that pit road.
Jr. on Facebook saying fresh tires make all the difference, and we see that. You know, when these guys get fresh tires after putting 25 or so laps down on a set, they come back out. They're a couple of seconds faster. You can watch it in the timing, but you can just see it. They look like they're running 10 miles an hour faster in the corners than the guys that are out there running on old stuff. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
What are their predictions for those people watching out there? I want to hear what everybody thinks is going to happen here. We're going to have a crash. We're going to have who's going to win this thing, because we're getting close to it.
I tell you what, the folks out Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, y'all proved me wrong, but I think we're going to go green all the way. I think this is going to be a flag-to-flag race. Well, no, we did have I don't count the competition caution. But I think we're going to go incident-free cautions here. I don't think we're going to see anything until the checkered flag here. That's my prediction.
Don't forget, we still have one final super fan of the race to announce here tonight, as well as a big special announcement coming up after the driver interviews. So be sure to stick around after these post-race ceremonies as we watch.
The free beer?
Well, I mean, if you got it.
What special? I never heard about this.
I thought it was going to be like, everybody who watches gets free beer or something. Is that what it is? Oh,
come on. No, that's for us. We have our own. We need our own beer sponsor. We're trying to give our beer away.
Chandler Paul is finally in. Chan the man got tired of leading the race, I guess. Decided to come on down for tires and fuel.
In the meantime, you had John Ellis and Timothy Pope going side by side once again. Timothy Pope looking to at least make it known that he might have been last season's champ and he might not have a chance at it here tonight. But he's going to at least try to put in an extra win here this season. All of this happening with Jess Vaught, man. He's been inching ever so closer to these top two guys up here at the front. You had George Rincon and Mike Adamson, man. They've been nose to tail ever since their little rounds of pit stops here. So they've been having a great race. But, man, the one thing we really haven't had lately, man, talk about a rally train. We'll talk about the rally train driver of the day. How about that 7 of Russ Kilgore? Of course, the rally train all sadly not brought to you by Miller High Life, but the 7 up 16 spots on the day. He's looking pretty secure there for maybe a hard charger award of the night, and keeping all 4 tires on that ground and having a really solid race as that 7.
Yeah, it's been a quiet night out on the Kansas City Southern main line that runs right behind my house. So we haven't had a rally train horn signal tonight.
I'd love to hear one. Let's get one going here as we're winding this thing down. Get on the conductor thing and call in the trains.
Well, I got a buddy of mine that's a conductor, and he says, "Hey man, I'll be swinging by sometime between this time and this time." Sometimes he throws a hat out the window or something. But nope, nothing tonight.
And oh man, as this battle up at the front has really closed up, about 6/10 to between first and second, and then about 6/10 from third to second. So we got quite a bit of action here yet that needs to be settled. Who's going to take home some extra cash here tonight for that race win? Who is going to be able to maybe put a little bumper there to that 728? Because I got a feeling if Jess Vaught gets up there, knowing what he needs to do, he might do a little wiggle on him.
Talking about going like full Dale Earnhardt Sr. on somebody?
No.
Absolutely.
Joey Logano style? Which way?
Oh! He did send somebody a little bit too fast into the corner, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was just a little friendly bump, you know.
Well, we're going to see that play out throughout the season. That's cool stuff. That's
That
the kind of
ain't
stuff I like to see. The
Yeah,
fight.
it ain't over.
Nope.
As the 214, Jeffrey Onger gets a position back there on the 999 of Jeff Snyder. He's got about 10 seconds to make up here in the final 10/9.5 laps to try to get his way into a top 10. Currently being held by Kelly Keel, who's slowly been trying to get up to the 82 of Mike Evers there in ninth, just not quite able to do so. We also have that 3 of Austin Paul trying to hold off that 7 of Russ Kilgore, as Mike Adamson and George Racon, man, still nose to tail. All the while, Albert Anderson once again just creeping on up lap after lap. He's been running a good almost half-second lap quicker than these guys. Just based on the number of laps remaining, it's possible Albert could really sneak up here, maybe take a top 5, maybe a top 4.
And Chachi might be out of the race, but he's on YouTube right now pulling for Ellis. He says, "Hey, come on, Ellis, go out there and get old Pope." Pope out there just in his natural habitat, if you will.
Out there all alone. Man, this gap here for second has really closed up now. Bumper to bumper, Ellis and Vaught. Vaught looking to the inside here, trying to get that run. Used every inch of draft he possibly could to try to get that run, get that momentum. He's going to be stuck on the inside for this corner, though. It looks like he will get clear of that 221. I think maybe that 221 pushing a little too hard coming out of the pits after that last pit stop really ate up some extra rubber.
Well, what are you guys looking forward to next season? We did see a preliminary schedule has come out. Most of the tracks are going to be pretty much the same, but we might have a couple of surprises next season for the Xfinity cars when these guys come back on June 1st.
I just wonder what this special announcement is. My mind can't get unwrapped around that one.
Looking ahead, the biggest thing is going to be that change to those Xfinity cars. I mean, all of these people in Vigilante are extremely talented drivers, but even with that, going from 2 seasons in the same truck, really with no crazy updates other than, just basic model changes or anything like that, get kind of used to racing the same thing week in, week out, and so changing it up is going to be interesting here, as here comes Albert Anderson. Like I said, 5 laps now to go, about half a second off of George Rincon and Mike Adamson here, and he is still closing up that gap mighty quick. I got a feeling
He needs to drive that thing like he stole it.
I got a feeling this is kind of the race that we're going to be watching here to the end. There's a good chunk of change between Pope and Vaught, and another big chunk of change between Vaught and Ellis. So we're going to be watching this battle here between 6th, 5th, and 4th. Anderson, Rincon, Adamson, all nose to tail here with 4 laps remaining as they came across the line. Man, oh man, is this one getting good.
Albert Anderson Jr. saying, "Come on, let's go, son. You're right there."
Here he comes, looking to the inside of the 28 of George Rincon, sticking to that kind of middle to outside line. But it looks like Anderson able to really get that truck to stick to that inside line. Just not quite getting that run down that back straightaway here. As here he goes again, looking to the inside. He also has that teammate of 51, Mike Adamson, there in front of him as well. He's got to be conscious to not kind of screw up Mike as well, to maybe have Mike lose a position here as they go trying to draft. I think George saw the draft action happen. He's going to move down to try to follow that 51. Gave a little love tap to the door of the 2.
Yeah, he got lucky that didn't cause some kind of major catastrophe.
So here they go, teammates side by side, back down this back straightaway here. Albert Anderson and Mike Adamson just not having the run there. He's going to still have the 28 of George Rincon on the outside of him there still as well, as they're going to come back across the line with 2 laps remain here at Autoclub. Still side by side, the 28 maybe peeking, trying to take it 3 wide, but those teammates in great communication, closing that gap, making sure there's absolutely no opening for that 28 to try to squeeze on through. And there we go, just sliding right up in front of teammate that 51. Albert Anderson able to get around 2 of those guys to squeeze his way on up into 4th, as here comes Timothy Pope across the line, taking the white flag here. Final lap of this season here for Timothy Pope, cruising on through turns 1 and 2. Absolutely nobody around him, no lap traffic to contend with. Absolutely nothing can go wrong, as we will not have any more yellows or anything happen here tonight. Heading on down this back straightaway at 185 miles an hour into turns 3 and 4. Just a couple hundred more feet and then a corner exit, and you'll have the 728 of Timothy Pope changing his luck around to pick up a win here in the final race at Autoclub. As here comes the final couple guys here just fought. John Ellis comes across the line. Albert Anderson leading the 3 trucks of Adamson and Rincon through turns 3 and 4, and he's gonna come across the line and take away a 4th place position there. So that was a great race there from Adamson, Anderson, and Rincon. Same thing from Austin Paul, able to sneak away with a top 10 as well.
Yeah, we saw a lot of contact there on that last lap, but it was all explained on the radio as just a little friendly bumping and running right there towards the end, and no hard feelings there. As man, feels good to get this season in the books, but it's kind of a bittersweet note, as we're going to be without some racing for a couple weeks.
That we are, but we still do have some things to get to here. First off is our random draw driver of the day, so let's get that one going. 3 clicks, and that's going to be your 5th place finisher of Mike Adamson. So congratulations, Mike, picking up the final random draw driver of the day award here this season.
We got another thing to take care of here. Kathleen Anderson on Facebook, you are the fan of the race. Kathleen Anderson on Facebook, super fan of the race this week. So let the admins know. They're going to try to hook you up with a little gift card or something, I believe.
Something like that, as the 221 and the 728 goes nose to nose. A little bit of a exchanging of the guard here at Vigilante. We saw the 728 of Pope absolutely dominate last season, and this season, man, that one had to go on to that 221 of Ellis. I mean, we knew it was just a matter of time. Ellis might have struggled there, just kind of learning the trucks, learning the league, but he was able to bring it on home in the second half of this season on absolute fire. As we are starting to get people here into our broadcast waiting room. So let's first start with our 5th place and random draw driver of the day. That is the 51 of Mike Adamson. As here he is, Mike Adamson. Congratulations on the top 5 finish here tonight in the final race of the season. It looked like it was definitely grueling. You had a good strategy out there, but man, that last 5 laps must have been pretty stressful, knowing that Albert was hunting you down and you were still trying to hold up that 28 of Rincon.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely a lot of fun. I tried the early pit strategy tonight. It almost paid off, but hey, I'll take a top 5 any day.
Yeah, we saw a little contact between you and Dale a little bit earlier in the race. What happened there? Y'all just weren't completely square, or how that? What was the story behind that?
Well, it looked like he was going out, and I went to go with him, and he swerved a little bit and came off my nose. So it definitely wasn't unintentional. Apologize to him for it, but I was just trying to run clean. I won't run them dirty.
Well, top 5, that's nothing to be ashamed about here at Auto Club. And won a little bit of money on the random draw. You got anybody to thank or anything like that before we let you go?
No, just my sponsor, Octo Wraps. Do wonderful paints on the trucks, and Team Limitless has got some big things coming next season.
Oh yeah, we're looking forward to that.
That we are. So once again, congratulations to Mr. Mike Adamson here, finishing in 5th here tonight. Mike, we look forward to seeing you next season, buddy.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you guys for a wonderful season, and we look forward to next season in the cars.
All right. So while I think John Ellis continues to celebrate down there, let's bring up that 728 of Timothy Pope, picking up the win here in the final race. Just a couple races too late here, Tim. I think you had a bit of bad luck. You had some hardware issues. You had some unfortunate kind of race endings here in the closing stretch, but still, man, you stuck it out. And man, talk about a great way to finish this off a season is with a win.
Yeah, I kind of struggled there last few weeks, and come this weekend, I was on a mission.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be really, really close for second place between you and Jess, and it looks like you pulled it out. And congrats on finishing second on the season. How are you with the Xfinity cars? Are you looking forward to next season? Because that's a big change coming over from the Camping World trucks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to them. I think they're going to be real interesting because they drive a lot different, a little bit freer and looser, and slide around a little bit. Tires were a little bit different, so you have to manage that a little bit better.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you next season. I'm sure we'll see you in victory lane like you were tonight. You got any shout outs or anything? Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to the new team I'm on, Limitless Motorsports. We did a pretty good job tonight, all in the top 5.
Look at that.
That's out of the bag now.
I think that might be that big move they were hitting at there, getting that 728 of Mr. Timothy Pope on board with that team. Well, Tim, congratulations on the win here tonight, and man, we wish you the best of luck next season here, buddy.
Thank you. See y'all next season.
Congrats. God bless you, buddy.
All right, so we'll now trickle on down to tonight's second place finisher, and man, did he ever have a comeback after that early incident kind of in that first quarter of this race to fight his way back to finish second here tonight. But unfortunately, Jess, is going to be third in the championship for you. But that's just got to say something about the talent in this league, that you had a heck of a season, and man, still third place finish for you.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about the season. If not for a few DNFs there, some of the super speedways and other incidents, I think I'd have been a little more in the thick of things. And a couple of wins slipped through my fingers too. So, but overall, I mean, we're happy with it. Anything less than first, like I told you guys before, in this league is just not getting it done. So that's all on me.
And it's very competitive, and you guys put on one hell of a show week in and week out. We talked to Pope about the Xfinity cars next season. He's looking forward to it. What are your thoughts on it? Not just switch it to the Xfinity car, but any other changes that we might be seeing next season?
Yeah, so for the Xfinity car, I think it was something we voted on, but unfortunately, I think we might see a bigger gulf between the haves and the have-nots, so to speak, as far as who can handle the car. But we'll see. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong. I'll be proven wrong on that, but it does handle quite different than the trucks. The trucks